Okay, Jefferson County Court, law number 2 is back in session. The court is in session. And calls number 24 CCCR 0410. Case is style state of Texas versus Lawrence Edward Castile III. Mr. Castile, that's your full name? How are you doing, Mr. Castile? I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking, Mr. Castile. You're representing your case by your attorney, Attorney Nathan Reynolds. Mr. Reynolds, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, Judge.
And now, Mr. Castile, you have a new case. Mr. Reynolds, who is appointed on this case, will also be appointed on your new case. Okay. And Mr. Reynolds, you're asking that this case be reset to give you an opportunity to get a offer from the state. Is that correct?
Yeah, to get discovery on the new case and also an offer and possibly dispose of both of them at one time.
Okay. So what's that court date? Yeah, Castile. August 26th. Okay. This case will be reset to August 26th. You're gonna get your reset, Mr. Reynolds?
Yes, sir, Judge.
Once you get your reset, you're free to go. And Mr. Castile, your attorney will and Bob will get your reset once you get your This is cause number 23CCCR 2140, case of style, the state of Texas versus Chase Nathaniel Airy. Mr. Airy, would you please come forward? Mr. Airy, I have before me a motion to dismiss your case that was filed by the state. Is that correct, state?
Yes, Your Honor.
And I'm signing this motion to dismiss. You'll get a copy of this motion to dismiss from our court coordinator. Once you get a copy of the motion to dismiss, you're free to go and you have a blessed day.
All right.
Please stand over in front of the okay. Yeah, just have a seat right there. Hector Galvan, cause numbers 234 CCCR 0220 and cause number M334151. Both cases, style of state of Texas versus Hector Galvan.
The Galvin, you place your law on the record on your paper. Thank you.
Mr. Galvan, your full name is Hector Galvan? Mr. Galvan, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Galvan, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Mr. Galvan, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Galvan?
Pretty good, thanks.
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking, Mr. Galvan. You're represented in your case by your attorney, Attorney James Macon. Attorney Macon, how are you doing?
Very good, Your Honor.
That's good. Mr. Macon, do you waive a record in Mr. Galvan's case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Galvan, I have before me a document that is titled information sheet. This information sheet was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. In this information sheet and cause number 24CCCR 0220, I have before me an information sheet. This information sheet alleges that you, Hector Galvan, on or about December 20th of 2023, while you were operating a motor vehicle in a public place in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class B misdemeanor offense of driving while intoxicated. Mr. Galvan, do you understand what you have been charged with?
Yes.
And to this charge, Mr. Galvan, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? Are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Brilliant.
And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes.
Okay. Now, Mr. Macon, I'm gonna check the box down here that says DWI,
Oh,
Class
sure.
B.
I don't know why I have such a problem doing that.
Okay, I just second that. Now, Mr. Galvan, I have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishment. Is also labeled as State's Exhibit Number 1. Do you recognize this document? Now, there's one box that's checked on this first page. The box that's checked states that this is driving while intoxicated first, Class B misdemeanor, and the range of punishment is confinement in jail for at least 72 hours, but not to exceed 180 days in the Jefferson County Jail. A fine not to exceed $2,000 or both such fine and confinement. Do you understand the range of punishment for a Class B DWI? On page 2 of the same document, there's two sets of initials. One set is your attorney's initials, and then the other set, HG. Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, sir.
On the line next to the box is check guilty. Next page, there's a signature above the line that's titled defendant. Is this your signature?
Yes, sir.
And on the next document, it's titled trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant?
Yes, sir.
At the top of this document, there are two boxes checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that statement? The second box that's checked states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that statement?
Yes.
I also have a document on paper that is titled discovery certification. Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant?
Yes.
Mr. Galvin, before you sign and initial these documents, did your attorney, Mr. Macon, go over these documents with you? And did you read and understand everything that Mr. Macon went over? And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge? Mr. Galvin, are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes.
You're a citizen?
State officer states one.
Any
No
objections?
objection.
No objection, states exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Macon, you've advised and counsel Mr. Galvin. Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Galvin, your attorney, Mr. Macon, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Galvin, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is the agreement?
In exchange for defendant's plea of guilty, the state's offering 180 days prorated over 18 months, $1,000 fine, 80 hours community service, interlock, BWI standard conditions, 2 young concurrent with M3341.
What is this court cost? And cost in 392? Okay, Mr. Galvin, the state is offering that you serve 180 days in Jefferson County Jail. However, you will not be required to serve any time in the Jefferson County Jail because you'll be placed on probation for a period of 18 months. During the 18-month probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $1,000. You'll be required to pay a DPS fine of $100. You'll be required to pay court costs of $392, probation fee of $60 a month, your analysis fee, $15 a month, a reimbursement fee of $15. Your total amount installments, that is the total amount that you will be required to pay each month, is $168 a month. You also be required to reimburse Jefferson County. Well, you also be required to pay the DWI education and initial evaluation fee of $125 on the day of the plea. Should a further evaluation be needed, you'll be required to pay an additional $50. Now, will you be able to pay the monthly installment amount of the $168 a month? You'll also be required to perform 80 hours of community service, install an interlock device on any vehicle that you want to operate, attend and complete a DW education class, have an alcohol assessment, adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of probation, and this case will run concurrent with the companion case, cause number M334151. Mr. Galvin, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes.
And do you accept the state's offer? So Galvan, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state in this case. Now, Mr. Galvan, we'll move to your second case. And your second case is cause number M334151. And in this case, Mr. Galvan, the state has filed a document that is titled information. And in this information, Mr. Galvan, it alleges that you, Hector Galvan, on or about November 10th of 2022, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of driving while intoxicated with an alcohol concentration level. What's this thing not doing anything? The document is currently locked. Are you in the document? I see I can't get in it. This is M334151. Okay, but I don't have an unlock. Let's try it again. They say this document currently locked by another user for editing. See if you can go into it and then unlock it.
I'm a minute, Judge.
Okay, wait up. No, it didn't do that. Okay, here we, no, wait up. This thing is acting up. Here we go. I'm in it now. Okay, now, Mr. Galvan, the state filed a motion, filed a document that is titled information. In this information, it alleges that on or about November 10th of 2022, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, operating a motor vehicle in a public place, that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of driving while intoxicated with an alcohol concentration level of 0.15 or more. Mr. Galvan, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes.
And to this charge, Mr. Galvan, how do you plead guilty? Not guilty, no contest. Now you're pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yeah.
And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty? Okay, now, Mr. Macon, I'm gonna check Class A box. Is that all right? with
That's
you?
all right, Your Honor. Mr. Hubel waived the 72 hours.
That is correct, Your Honor.
72 hours.
For being Class A.
No, but this is a DWI enhanced. If it would have been 72 hours with a second.
Oh,
It's not a second, yeah.
I should have had more coffee this time.
Okay, all right, so, Mr. Galvan, I have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishments. Do you recognize this document? Now, you notice there's one box that's checked. The box that's checked states that this is a Class A misdemeanor. The range of punishment for Class A misdemeanor is minimum 0 days to a maximum of 365 days in the Jefferson County Jail, a fine from $0 to $4,000, or you can be given both such fine and confinement. Do you understand the range of punishment for Class A misdemeanor? Okay. On page 2 of this same document, there are 2 sets of initials. One set of initials is your attorney initials. The other set, GH, which are your initials. Did you place your initials on the line next to the box that's checked guilty? On page 3 of this same document, there is a signature above the line that is titled defendant. Is this your signature? On the next document that's titled trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal, do you recognize this document?
Yes.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant?
Yes.
At the top of this document, there are two boxes checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case. You have no right of appeal. Do you understand that statement? Second box that's checked states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that statement? I also have a document on paper that's titled Discovery Certification. Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant?
Yes.
Mr. Galvan, before you sign and initial these documents, did the attorney go over these documents with you? And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge? Mr. Galvan, state.
State offer seats one.
Any objections?
No objection.
No objections. States exhibit number 1 is admitted. And Mr. Maker, you advising counsel, Mr. Galvan, in this case, is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, Your Honor.
And Mr. Galvan, your attorney, Mr. Macon, has also advising counsel you in this case. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation? Send Galvan's case back to me. Mr. Galvan, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is the agreement?
In exchange for defendant's plea of guilty, the state's offering 180 days prorated over 18 months, $1,000 fine, 80 hours community service, interlock DWI standard conditions, and this is to run concurrent with cost 24 CCCR 0220.
What is his court cost in this case? 377.
Right.
Who is that? Okay. Okay, Mr. Galvan, the state is offering that you serve 180 days in Jefferson County Jail. However, you'll not be required to serve any time in the Jefferson County Jail in this case because you'll be placed on probation for a period of 18 months. During the 18-month probationary period, you'll be required to pay fine of $1,000 plus a DPS fine of $100. And court costs of $377. You're required to pay probation fee of $60 a month, urinalysis fee of $15 a month, and reimbursement fee of $15. You'll also be required to pay Jefferson County DW Education an initial evaluation fee of $125 on the date of plea. Should a further evaluation be needed, you'll be required to pay an additional $50. Now, your total monthly installments is $167. However, you will not be paying the $167 because you are already on probation that's running concurrent with this probation. So therefore, you will not be required to pay the probation fee, $60 a month, your analysis fee of $15 a month, and the reimbursement fee of $15. So therefore, your total monthly installments in this case will be $87 a month. Will you be able to pay the $87 each month? All right. Now, you'll also be required to install an interlock device on any vehicle that you want to operate, attend a completed DW education class, have a drug and alcohol assessment, adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of probation. In this case, we'll run concurrent with the companion case clause number 24CCCR 0220. Mr. Galvan, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes,
Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
yes,
And do you accept the state's offer?
yes,
Mr. Galvan, I'll follow the plea bargaining agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Galvan, please stand in front of the court coordinator, follow the directions of the bailiff. Once you finish following the directions of the bailiff, you're free to go and you have a blessed day.
thank you.
Okay.
I can always-
A minute. This case is Orlando Castillo Martinez. Mr. Martinez, your full name is Orlando Castillo Martinez. Mr. Martinez, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Martinez, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Mr. Martinez, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Martinez? I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking, Mr. Martinez. You're represented in your case by your attorney James Macon, Attorney Macon. Do you waive a record in Mr. Martinez's case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Martinez, I have before me in cause number M328880, a document that is titled information. This information was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. In this information, Mr. Martinez, it alleges that you, Orlando Castillo Martinez, on or about January 2nd of 2021, while you were operating a motor vehicle in a public place in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class B misdemeanor offense of driving while intoxicated. Mr. Martinez, do you understand what you have been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to this charge, Mr. Martinez, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? Are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily? And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty? Mr. Martinez, I also have before me on my tablet a document that is titled misdemeanor admonishment, misdemeanor plea admonishment. Mr. Macon, do I have your permission to change the box?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Martinez, I have before me a document that is titled misdemeanor plea admonishment. You recognize this document? There's one box that's checked. The box that's checked states that this is a driving while intoxicated, DWI first offense, a Class B misdemeanor. And the range of punishment is confinement in jail for at least 72 hours, but not to exceed 180 days. A fine not to exceed $2,000, or you could be given both such fine and confinement. Do you understand the range of punishment for a DWI first? On page 2 of the same document, there's a signature and the initials of your attorney. You place your signature on this document next to the line that's checked guilty. On the next page of the same document, there's a signature above the line that's titled defendant. Is this your signature? Yes. And on the next document that's titled trial court certification, the defendant's right of appeal, you recognize this document. And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant? At the top of this document, there are 2 boxes checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that statement? The second box that's checked states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that statement? I also have before me a document that is titled Discovery Certification on paper. You recognize this document? And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant? Mr. Martinez, before you signed and initial these documents that I just showed you, did your attorney go over these documents with you? And did you understand everything that your attorney went over? Is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge? Mr. Martinez, are you a citizen of the United States?
Table for states one.
Any objections?
Objection.
No objection. State's exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Macon, you've advised and counseled Mr. Martinez. Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial? And Mr. Martinez, your attorney, Mr. Macon has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation? Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation? Okay. Mr. Martinez, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is the agreement?
In exchange for defendant's plea, the state's offering 1 year deferred, $500 fine, and 60 hours community service, interlocking court cost.
Okay. What's the court cost in Mr. Martinez's case? 392. Okay. Ms. Martinez, the state is offering that you serve 1 year deferred adjudicated probation. During the 1 year probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $500 plus a DPS fine of $100. You'll be required to pay court costs, $392. Probation fee of $6 a month. Your analysis fee of $15 a month, and a reimbursement fee of $15. You'll also be required to pay Jefferson County DWI education and initial evaluation fee of $125 on the day of the plea. Should a further evaluation be needed, you'll be required to pay an additional $50. Your total monthly installments, that is the total amount that you will be required to pay each month while you're on probation, is $173 a month. Will you be able to pay the $173 each month? You'll You will also be required to perform 60 hours of community service, install an interlock device on any vehicle that you own or operate. Attend and complete a DWI education class, have an alcohol assessment, and adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of DWI probation. Mr. Martinez, do you understand the state's offer? Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just? And do you accept the state's offer? Mr. Martinez, I'll follow the plea bargaining agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Martinez, if you successfully complete this probationary period, this case will not result in a conviction on your record. The case will be dismissed. And you may qualify for non-disclosure. You can talk to your attorney, Mr. Bacon, about the non-disclosure because he's quite competent in those matters. Now, Mr. Martinez, you're going to stand in front of our court coordinator on the end, follow the directions of the bailiff. Once you finish following the directions of the bailiff, you're free to go, and you have a blessed day.
Thanks, Sid.
I'm having issues as well now, both on the tablet.
Are we having issues on the tablet?
I can't even sign up, please. Keep
Well,
saying it's locked by another user.
oh, well, she can unlock. You don't have a, do you have an unlock on yours?
Did it work? We just restarted. It won't allow me to, Judge.
You don't have an unlock button on yours?
Mhm. Just keep saying what it was saying for you, locked by another user for editing. It gives me the option for okay.
But did you forward it to her?
I haven't even got to open it yet. Like, I haven't even got to sign it up.
I'll send it back to them.
I can't even open it though.
Oh, maybe to the lawyer. The lawyer might,
Yeah.
who, the attorney can unlock it.
Oh, no.
Yeah, the attorney would have to unlock it. Yeah, it's not a security issue. It's not a disclosure of non-public information. It's not that this defendant ensure that the defendant receives a fair trial, so. Okay, Jefferson County Court at Law number 2 is back in session. The court is in session. And calls number 23 CCC Aura 1242, case to style the state of Texas versus Joshua Lee White. Mr. White, is that your full name?
No, that's Michael White. right
Oh,
there.
oh, okay, Michael White.
Yeah, Michael White.
Oh, I put it up the wrong.
No, Michael
Okay.
White, just White, not White.
Okay, hold on a
Page
minute.
4. First person.
It's on page 4.
Yes, sir.
Okay. White, White, Joshua White, Michael Marquise. Okay.
Yes, sir.
This is cause number 24 CCCR 1516, case of style of state of Texas versus Michael Marquise White. Mr. White, is that your full name? It's-
Michael Marquis White.
Okay, that's what I need to know. Now, Mr. White, would you please raise your right hand? You swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
You may put your hand down. Mr. White, you representing your case by your attorney, Ms. Reagan Minaldi. Ms. Minaldi, you waive a record in Mr. White's case.
Yes, sir, we do.
Okay, Mr. White, I have before me a document that was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. This document is titled Information. This information alleges that Michael Marquise White, on or about April 11th of 2024, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed a Class B misdemeanor offense of indecent exposure. Mr. White, do you understand what you've been charged with? Yes. You understand what you've been charged with, indecent exposure? Okay, now to this charge, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? Guilty? Are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily? And are you pleading guilty because you're guilty?
Yeah.
Okay, now, Mr. White, I also have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishments. It is also labeled as State's Exhibit Number 1. Do you recognize this document? All right, on page 2 of this same document, there are a set of initials, MW, that are on the line next to a box that's checked guilty. Did you place your initials on this document?
Yeah.
On page 3 of the same document, there is a signature above the line that is titled Defendant. Is this your signature? On the next document that's titled Trial Court Certification, do you recognize this document? And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant? At the top of this document, there are 2 boxes checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that statement?
Yeah.
And the second statement states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that statement? Yeah, all right. Now, I also have before me a document that is titled Discovery Certification. Do you recognize this document? And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant?
Yes, sir.
Now, before you signed and initialed all of these documents that I just showed you, did your attorney, Ms. Mandaldi, go over these documents with you?
I had to sign the dependent line of my.
Yeah, okay, but did you remember her going over these documents with you? And did you understand everything that she went over?
Yeah.
Okay, now, is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yeah.
Okay, are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, I am a citizen of the United States.
Okay,
State offer states one.
any objections? No objections, states exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Ms. Minaldi, you've advised and counsel Mr. White, is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
Not, I'm not sure.
Mr. White, you have been advised and counseled by Ms. Minaldi. Are you satisfied with her representation? You satisfied with your attorney? That's for you to answer, Mr. White.
Yes.
All right, now, Mr. White, I'm going to accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is the agreement?
In exchange for defendant's plea of guilty, the state's offering 84 days in the Jefferson County Jail, credit for 84 days to tax and retired court costs.
Okay, Mr. White, the state is offering that you serve 84 days in Jefferson County Jail. However, you'll not be required to serve any more time in the Jefferson County Jail on this case because you've already served 84 days in Jefferson County Jail. Therefore, you'll be given credit for the time that you've already served. The court costs in this case will be taxed and retired. That means you will not have to pay any court costs in this case because the time that you have spent in jail has already paid it off. Therefore, the court costs will be taxed and retired. Now, Mr. White, do you understand the state's offer?
Thank you, time, sir.
It's credit for time served. All right. Now, do you accept the state's offer?
Yes.
All right. Now, Mr. White, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. White, this will conclude your case. You're going to stand in front of the court coordinator, follow her directions. Once you finish following her directions, you'll be free to follow the bailiff. And you have a blessed day. Jefferson County Court at Law number 2 is back in session. The court is in session in cause number 24 CCCR 0044. The case is styled the state of Texas versus Betty Harrington Price. Miss Price, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
Miss Price, would you please raise your right hand? Miss Price, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Miss Price, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Miss Price?
I'm doing.
I'm doing fine, thanks for asking. Ms. Price, you're represented in your case by your attorney, Attorney James Macon. That was 6 days. Mr. Macon, do you waive a record? I don't have her document. Oh, that's right, you didn't put it. Okay. Mr. Macon, do you waive record in Ms. Price's case?
We waive the record given.
Okay, Ms. Price, I have before me now. I have before me some documents. These documents originally was on the tablet. I'm sure you, when your attorney had you to sign it was on the tablet, but I now have them on paper. Okay, what I'm gonna have to do is, because it's an open container, I just need to change the punishment range. Because it's a minimum of 6 days.
Was waived in the plea bargaining.
You can't waive the punishment range. The punishment, if it's a, so they waiving the open container?
Yes,
Oh, okay. Let's see. Let's see if y'all got the paperwork right. They didn't write that on here. Y'all need to, y'all need to, that's correct? So what, on the minimum, the punishment range is a class, it's a DWI first. All of this is gonna stay the same.
right.
Only thing that's gonna change is it's just gonna be a DWI first. It's not gonna be open container. Yeah,
Do I need to write that on here, Your Honor, somewhere?
let me see what you have.
I don't see where you waived it, Your Honor, but I won't object.
I guess it would be like a lesson. Look, you waiving the, it will, you would have to put up there that it's the open container enhancement is waived.
Okay.
And you might have to write on here state waives. You know how y'all put on the side. You're abandoning you're abandoning it. Yeah, abandons enhancement paragraph.
You didn't want to go to jail, did you?
No.
No, she wasn't gonna go to jail. It's just that that it's a minimum of 6 days instead of a minimum of 72 hours. That's the only difference.
Didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. So the minimum is gonna be 72 hours, not 60 days.
Initialed it. Do you want me to date it as well too, Judge, or is that fine?
Yeah, you can. I mean, I'm gonna sign it. It's gonna be signed anyway today. And I just need to scratch through the top up here where it says DWI open container. So it'll be a DWI first. And this is the offense is September 24. Okay. Now, Ms. Price, I have before me a document that is titled misdemeanor, well, that's titled information sheet. This information sheet was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. In this information sheet, Ms. Price, it alleges that you, Betty Harrington Price, on or about September 24th of 2023, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, operating a motor vehicle in a public place, that you committed the class B misdemeanor offense of driving while intoxicated with an open container. However, the state is abandoning the enhancement paragraph. And so therefore, it's still a class B, but the minimum punishment will be 72 hours to 180 days Jefferson County Jail, a fine that does not exceed $2,000. And to discharge a DWI first, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? Guilty. Now, you're pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes.
Now, Ms. Harrington, I have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishments. Do you recognize this document? This document that was on the tablet. On page 2 of the same document, there's a set of initials, BP, next to your attorney's initials, next to a box that's typed guilty. And are these your initials?
Yes.
On the next page, above the line that is titled defendant, is this your signature?
Yes.
I also have another document that is titled Jefferson Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant?
Yes.
At the top of this document, there are 2 boxes checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that statement? The second box that's checked states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that statement?
Yes.
I also have before me a document that is titled Discovery Certification. Do you recognize this document? And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant? Now, Ms. Price, before you signed and initialed all of these documents that I just showed you, did your attorney, Mr. Macon, go over these documents with you? And did you read and understand everything that Mr. Macon went over?
Yes.
Is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Ms. Price, are you a citizen of the United States?
State offers 3
Any
No
objections?
objection.
No objections. State's exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Macon, you've advised in counsel Ms. Price. Is there any evidence that she is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Price, the attorney, Mr. Macon, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation? Has he provided full, effective, and competent representation?
Yes.
Ms. Price, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is the agreement?
In exchange for defendant's plea of guilty, the state's offering 180 days probated over 1 year, $750 fine, 60 hours community service, interlock and DWI conditions, plus court costs.
What is the court cost in Ms. Price's case?
377.
377. Ms. Price, the state is offering that you serve 180 days in Jefferson County Jail. However, you will not be required to serve any time in the Jefferson County Jail because you'll be placed on probation for 1 year. During the 1 year probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $750 plus a DPS fine of $100 plus court costs of $377 plus a probation fee of $60 each month, your analysis fee of $15 each month, and a $15 reimbursement fee. You will also be required to pay Jefferson County DWI education and initial evaluation fee of $125 on the day of plea. Should a further evaluation be needed, you'll be required to pay an additional $50. Your total monthly installments, that is the total amount that you will be required to pay each month, is $195 a month. Will you be able to pay the $195 each month?
Yes,
You'll also be required to perform 60 hours of community service, install an interlock device on any vehicle that you own or operate, attend and complete a DW education class, have an alcohol assessment, and adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of this probation. Ms. Price, do you understand the state's offer? Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just? And do you accept the state's offer? Ms. Price, I'll follow the plea bargaining agreement that you have entered into with the state. Ms. Price, please stand in front of the court.
You can
Have a seat.
Yeah.
Just have a seat. When they get the paperwork ready, you're gonna come up and have a seat and stand before the court coordinator's window. And Mr. Macon, is this your last case?
It is, Your Honor.
Okay, you're free to go.
Well, thank you.
You have
I'll
a,
wait on this part.
okay. Do we have Mr. Lodge ready?
I don't think they've sent it over.
It's not ready.
The only one I can think of.
Okay, let's see if we can get some of these other people.
Yeah,
Robinson was one of the withdrawal.
Who is, which one is that? Brian Wayne Robinson? We're gonna have to appoint him somebody else. I need Miss Scott's motion to withdraw. Now, Mr. Robinson, how are you doing? All right, now your attorney, Miss Scott, she's no longer taking court appointments. And so, she filed a motion to withdraw from your case. And because, now she was appointed in your case, is that correct? Now, we can appoint you another attorney to, handle your case. If you desire, if your financial situation have not changed and, you want us to do that? Okay. Oh, she just left. Miss Reagan Minaldi. Yeah, is gonna be appointed to represent you. She was here earlier. Yeah. Miss Minaldi was here earlier, handling another matter. And she's the next person on the list. So she'll be appointed to represent you in your case. The court coordinator is gonna give you a reset because your case has to be reset to give her time to get the evidence in your case, and then they'll have a conference with you and the district attorney's office, right? So just have a seat in that first chair on the wall, and then when they're ready for you to come to one, you're gonna get your reset. Once you get your reset, you're free to go and you have a blessed day. You're welcome. Oh, hey. She had Brian Broussard on the, should be Brian Robinson. Here you go, she had it right in the body, but she had it wrong up here. Seven.
This one.
Donovan Clavell Jasper. Mr. Jasper, your full name is Donovan Covell Jasper. How you doing, Mr. Jasper? All right, that's good. Now, Mr. Jasper, your case was reset on April 23rd, 2024, to give you an opportunity to hire an attorney. Have you hired your attorney? Okay, this was now, April 23rd was your first time coming to court? Okay, so we're gonna reset your case and give you an opportunity to hire. This is gonna be your last reset to hire, okay? Give us, just have a seat in that chair, and when she call your name, you're free to go, and you have a blessed day. And Ms. Price, you have a blessed day. Now, we already reset Ms. Pollard, right?
Have you heard someone just?
Beatrice Pollard. That was Paget,
MTRP? Yeah.
MTRP. Alice Marie Broughton. Is that your last name, Broughton? Please come forward. What, she's represented by Ryan Matuska.
She's sending it back to Mr. Matuska.
right now.
Okay,
That's where he is.
just have a seat. We waiting for your attorney to arrive. Dalen Eduardo Garcia Rodriguez. That's Mr. Lodge.
Yes, sorry.
Garcia. Oh. This is the paperwork on Harrington. This is cause number 23 CCCR 1570. Case is style, the state of Texas versus Dalen Eduardo Garcia Rodriguez. Mr. Garcia Rodriguez, is that your full name? Mr. Garcia Rodriguez, would you please raise your right hand? Do you swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth so help you God? You may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Garcia Rodriguez? Pretty good. I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Mr. Garcia Rodriguez, you're representing your case by your attorney, Attorney Jennifer DeLodge. Attorney DeLodge, how are you doing?
Doing great, Judge. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Mr. Lodge, you waive a record in Mr. Garcia
Yes,
Rodriguez case. Mr. Garcia Rodriguez, I have before me a document that is titled information sheet. This information sheet was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. In this information sheet, Mr. Rodriguez, it alleges that you, Dalen Eduardo Garcia Rodriguez, on or about March 12th of 2023, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class B misdemeanor offense of theft. Mr. Garcia Rodriguez, do you understand what you have been charged with? And to this charge, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, no contest? No contest, or you pleading no contest freely and voluntarily? And are you pleading no contest because you do not wish to fight or contest the charges? Mr. Garcia Rodriguez, I also have before me a document that is titled misdemeanor plea admonishments. Do you recognize this document? On page 2 of this same document, there's a set of initials on a line next to a box that's checked nolo contendere, which means no contest. Did you place your initials DG on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
And on the third page of the same document, there's a signature above the line that is titled defendant. Is this your signature? And on the next document, that's titled trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant? At the top of this document, there are 2 boxes checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargaining case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that statement?
Yes, sir.
The second box that's checked states that you are waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that statement? I also have before me a document that is titled misdemeanor, that's titled discovery certification. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant? Mr. Garcia Rodriguez, before you signed and initial these documents that I just showed you, did your attorney, Mr. Lodge, go over these documents with you?
Yes,
And did you read and understand everything that Mr. Lodge went over?
yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge? And Mr. Garcia Rodriguez, are you a citizen of the United States?
Asylum.
Okay, hold on a minute. He needs to. What country are you from? Guatemala?
Sorry, Judge, I didn't want to ask.
Okay. Now, let's see, Guatemala. You on the mandatory notification list. So they're not on the mandatory list, so he would have to, you have to go over this document with him. Mr. Delage,
Yes, sir.
he needs to read and sign whatever is appropriate, whether or not he wants us to have a consular officer. Yes or not, no, and then you're gonna witness it, so you sign, he
I'm gonna
needs to
sign
sign
the
it.
witness.
Yeah, just have a seat at that,
Okay,
table.
I'm gonna do it right there. All right.
Yes.
She did inform me Mr. Richards was on the way as well.
Okay. So Ms. Braun, your attorney is on the way?
As one on the announcement.
He does. Who is his other client?
White.
White? Yeah, your attorney is on his way. Just come to observe what's going on in court today? Okay, now we have this is a criminal court and we handle criminal cases. Criminal cases are divided into felonies or misdemeanors. Your felonies are your more serious type offenses, whereas your misdemeanor cases are normally referred to as your petty offenses. Does not mean that they're not serious. It just means that they're not as serious as a felony offense. And when I use the term serious, what I'm talking about is the facts of the case and the possible punishment that a person can get for the offense. For example, felonies are divided into 5 categories. We'll start at the top and work our way on down to the bottom. You have the capital murder, first-degree felony, second-degree felony, third-degree felony, and the state jail felony. Now, if a person is convicted of a state jail felony, the range of punishment is minimum 6 months to maximum 2 years in the state jail and a fine that does not exceed $10,000. Now, if we move up, if a person is convicted of a third-degree felony, the range of punishment is minimum 2 years to a maximum of 10 years in the state penitentiary and a fine that does not exceed $10,000. If a person is convicted of a second-degree felony, they can be placed in jail for a minimum of 2 years to a maximum of 20 years and a fine that does not exceed $10,000. Now, if they're convicted of a higher felony, like a first-degree felony, the range of punishment is minimum 5 years to a maximum of 99 years to life in the state penitentiary and a fine up to $10,000. Now, the highest felony is a capital murder. If a person is convicted of a capital murder, the range of punishment is life in the state penitentiary without the possibility of parole or death by lethal injection. All right. Now, in this court, we don't handle those type cases. The cases we handle here are misdemeanors. Misdemeanors are divided into 3 categories. And we'll start at the top, work our way on down to the bottom. You have the Class A misdemeanor, the Class B misdemeanor, and the Class C misdemeanor. Now, if a person is convicted of a Class C misdemeanor, they cannot be given jail time. They can be given a fine that does not exceed $500. Class C misdemeanors are like not wearing your seatbelt, speeding, having an expired license sticker. Those are Class C misdemeanors. Now, if a person is convicted of a Class B misdemeanor, which is a little higher, the range of punishment is minimum 0 days to a maximum of 180 days in the county jail, or a fine that does not exceed $2,000, or you could be given both such fine and confinement. Now, the highest misdemeanor is a Class A misdemeanor, and the range of punishment for a Class A misdemeanor is minimum 0 days to a maximum of 365 days in the county jail, or a fine that does not exceed $4,000, or you could be given both such fine and confinement. Okay, so the case that we have before us today, this is a Class B theft, which means that the range of punishment is anywhere from 0 days to a maximum of 180 days, a fine from $0 to $2,000, or you could be given both such fine and confinement. And in some cases, a person may be eligible for probation. There are 2 types of probation. One type of probation is called unadjudicated probation. That means that you don't have a conviction on your record, okay, with that type of probation. And if you successfully complete the probation, you could get your record sealed to the general public. The other type of probation is regular probation or straight probation, or we call it adjudicated probation. So you have unadjudicated probation and adjudicated probation. Adjudicated probation does result in a conviction on your record. However, there's something that's called judicial clemency, where the court can set the conviction aside. But the only way that can happen is if the person comes to probation, there's no more time left on the probation, and the person is successfully discharged. Then the court has a discretion to set the conviction aside. And if the person gets another conviction later on, then the case can be brought back up. It can be revived, resurrected, or brought back up and used against them. Okay? Now, as I mentioned earlier, we're in the middle of Mr. Dylan Eduardo Garcia Rodriguez case. Mr. Garcia Rodriguez, would you please come forward? Y'all can be seated.
Judge, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Sir, thank you.
Okay, thanks for coming. Now, yeah, I had that. Now, we court is back in session in cause number 23CCCR 1570. Case is styled the state of Texas versus Dylan Eduardo Garcia Rodriguez. Now, Mr. Rodriguez, the court asks whether or not you're a citizen of the United States. you stated that you are not a citizen of the United States, you're from Guatemala, is that correct?
No.
Now, I have before me a document that is titled "For all foreign nationals except those of mandatory notification countries." And it reads as follows: as a non-US citizen who is being arrested or detained, you may request that we notify your country's consulate officers here in the United States of your situation. You may also communicate with your consular officers. A consular officer may be able to help you obtain legal representation and may contact your family and visit you in detention, among other things. If you want us to notify your consular officers, you can request this notification now or at any time in the future. Do you want us to notify your consular officers at this time?
No.
And you circle no. Now, Mr. Garcia Rodriguez, is this your signature on a document that is titled, that I just read to you?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Ms. Dodge, this is your signature as a witness, is
Yes,
that
Your
correct?
Honor.
Now, before you sign and initial this document, did your attorney go over this document with you? And did you read and understand everything in this document?
Yes.
And is everything in this document true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Your Honor.
Okay, now, Ms. DeLodge,
Yes, Your Honor.
pursuant to the case of Padilla versus Kentucky, did you advise your client of the consequences of pleading guilty or no contest by him not being a U.S. citizen?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Now, Mr.
State would also like to offer state's contract.
Okay, do you have any objections?
No objection.
No objection. States exhibit number 1 will be admitted. And Ms. DeLodge, you've advised in counsel, Mr. Garcia Rodriguez, is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Garcia Rodriguez, your attorney, Mr. Lodge, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with her representation?
Yes, Your Honor.
Has she provided full, effective, and competent legal representation? Mr. Garcia Rodriguez, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I would also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is the agreement?
In exchange for defendant's plea, the state's offering 90 days probated over 1 year, $300 fine, 40 hours community service plus court cost.
You say 40 hours of community service?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. DeLodge, were you appointed in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
What is this, court cost? Okay, now, Mr. Garcia Rodriguez, the state is offering that you serve 90 days in the Jefferson County Jail. However, you will not be required to serve any time in the Jefferson County Jail in this case because you will be placed on probation for a period 1 year. During the 1 year probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $300 plus court costs of $277. You'll be required to pay a probation fee of $60 a month, a urinalysis fee of $15 a month, and a reimbursement fee of $15. You'll also be required to reimburse Jefferson County Dakota appointed attorney's fees of $250. Your total monthly installments, that is the total amount that you will be required to pay each month, in this case, is $158 a month. Will you be able to pay the $158 a month? You will?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. You will also be required to perform 40 hours of community service. And you will be required to adhere to the other standard terms and condition of this probation. Mr. Garcia Rodriguez, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes.
Mr. Garcia Rodriguez, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Now, Mr. Garcia Rodriguez, this will conclude your case. You will, do we have this paperwork ready?
Yes.
Okay, you will stand in front of the court coordinator, follow the directions of the bailiff. Once you finish following the directions of the bailiff, you'll be free to go, and you have a blessed day.
Oh. You ready? Yep, so. Go ahead.
Okay. Next case is cause number M 325-237. Case is styled the state of Texas versus Ruben Trevino Jr. What are we doing on that case?
Your Honor, we are gonna request some more time, a reset. My client does believe he can find the prescription for the medication he was found with. He needs some time to.
State, you have any objections? No objections? Ms. Jackson, would you please give us a reset on Ruben Trevino Jr.? This is a whole, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put this on the trial docket.
Okay, I think I just recently.
Oh,
got
you know
this.
what? I see that. Yes, right. You was just appointed on May 29th. So we're gonna keep it on the announcement docket.
Yeah, so I didn't realize.
Okay.
It was that old, sorry.
He must have been arrested late or something. Like, that's what it was. He was out there before he was arrested, so,
Okay,
okay.
right, if you want to get.
What is that, court date? Okay, the case will be reset to August 26th, 2024. Oh, and Mr. Lodge,
Yes, Your Honor.
this is your last case. You're free to go and you have a blessed day.
Thank you. Have a wonderful July 4th weekend.
Oh, and same to you.
They're gonna assist you, sir.
Okay, so we waiting on Mr. Matuska, is that correct?
He did say he's on.
That's what they said, he's on his way. Okay, so he has the motion to revoke probation case as well as the other case.
So that gentleman that I sent to the bank,
I
one,
think he was in court somewhere else this morning, too.
he was due to be in court yesterday.
He was here, he was on the docket yesterday? Oh, okay, yeah. That's the one he had called 2 weeks ago. He was on Zoom. We did a arraignment by Zoom, and then he was supposed to be here yesterday.
Yeah, he was in mid, whatever.
I know, but that's up to the state.
There you go, Mom.
Yeah.
You said what?
Your comments, thank you very much again.
No problem. You from Louisiana?
Makes you.
We're over there in between Baton Rouge and.
I know. I was born in Houma, Louisiana.
Well, that's a long way by road, but very short by air.
That's right. Yeah, I was born in Houma, Louisiana, near Thibodeau. And yeah, I was raised in, I know, right up the road near going toward Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
Actually, I went to school in Baton Rouge. I graduated from Southern University in Baton Rouge. Yeah.
Yes, thank you, man.
You're welcome.
Appreciate your courtesy.
No problem. You're doing a good job by bringing them here. Now they can see the law in action. You know, they hear about it and read about it, but they give them an opportunity to see the law in action. Let me tell you this here. You know, yeah, y'all can come on out.
This makes me want to bring my kids up here and make them sit and watch.
I could bring my one to sit in there and watch.
Now, I always tell people this here. This is something that my mother told me, stepmother told me this here. A good reputation will carry you further than money will bring you. Okay? And what she meant by that was this here. Now, your reputation is everything that you do, and then what people see you do. And when I'm talking about your reputation, I'm also including the grades that you make in school. Because the grades that you make in school, when you decide to go, if you decide to go to college, or if you decide to go somewhere else, even to the military, they're gonna look at your grades. They're gonna look at your conduct grades. And that's gonna determine whether or not they will accept you or not. So all of it plays hand in hand. It goes together. Okay. The other thing is, and you never get a chance to make a first impression, right? That is, people get an impression by what they see. And for example, you will hear shirt and tie, pants, everything that's, your clothes are pressed, hair is neat. And so all of those things, people take that into account when they decide to, people size us up. They size me up, size him up, they size you up. And so all of that comes into consideration. And so when your parents are asking you to do certain things, and it's because they're asking you to do those things because the road that you're going down, they have already been, okay? And you know how you have a car, you have the front windshield and you have a rearview mirror? The rearview mirror is like what's behind you, okay? What your parents is telling you, they're looking through their rearview mirror, they've already been there. You haven't, you've gone through that, but you haven't been there yet, and they're trying to make sure that you don't make or fall in some of the pitfalls that they've made or other people have fallen into. And so what they're trying to do is trying to make your way in life a lot easier than they had it in their life, okay? And so in essence, it's for your best interest. And this is what I tell people, young people that come here all the time. They might be standing before the bench or before the judge, and young people have the sense that they put a lot of stock in their friends, okay? And there's a little slogan of things that they say, this is my friend, or this is my friend, she has my back, or he has my back. In essence, they'll be with me through thick and thin. But what I notice here as being a judge, when they come before court, I don't see that friend with them. Most of the time I see a parent. You know why I see the parent? Because that's the person who have their back, right? That's the person who's their friend. That's the person who's putting a roof over their head, clothes on their back, food on the table, providing education, transportation, and all of these things to help people get along in life. And so that's the friend. And I always tell them this, that person, everybody's not your friend. Everybody's not your partner. But when your parents say they got you, they got you. All right, you need to remember that. They are the ones who's going to be with you through thick and thin. All right. And he's with you here today because one day, okay, I see all of you are young and everything. I was young at one time, believe it or not.
You're still young.
Yeah. I was 12, 13, 10, 9. And guess what? I was 10 for a whole year, 13 for a whole year, 12 for a whole year. And guess what? I had hair on my head. Right? At some point, I lost it. But my point is this here. One day you're going to be older than you are now. And one day you're going to look back and you're going to remember this day. You may be sitting somewhere in your office, in your home, and you're going to thank that man right there for doing what he did today. Because I always think about the teachers, coaches, neighbors, family members, all of those individuals who have invested in me. And I always say this here. Now, I might be 6'3". People say that I'm tall. I might be a giant, but I'm just a midget sitting on the shoulders of giants. And those giants was all of those people that invested in me. All right? And you're going to remember that one day. Might not be tomorrow, might not be next year, but one day it's gonna come to you, you're gonna thank that man right there for doing what he's doing today. And so I appreciate you bringing him here. And hopefully one day, 1, 2, 3 of you may be sitting where I'm sitting. We just never know. Because when I was your age, I never thought I'd be a judge. Matter of fact, I grew up in an area in New Orleans called the Ninth Ward, the Desire Housing Project. That's where I was raised. And so, growing up there, people will say that you're nothing, you'll never be nothing. But I had a praying mama that told me that I was somebody. I had a preaching father that told me that I can do all things through Christ who strengthened me. Okay. And look where I am today. And so.
You ended up in Beaumont. What was your path here?
Well, I went to Southern University to play in the marching band. Graduated from Southern University.
Marching band?
Yes, that's right, the Jaguars. And then from there, I went to get a master's at Prairie View A&M University. There I met my wife. She was from here. But the strange thing about it, I was in Houston, Texas, unemployed, and decided to apply. At that time, that was before I went to law school. And so had a degree in agriculture. So I applied to 12 experiment stations throughout the state, as well as the TxDOT. And then I got 2 responses. One from TxDOT and one from the agriculture experiment station. And both of them was from Beaumont. I said, well, maybe God wanted me here. That's how I got here.
Okay.
And then
I'm just curious.
yeah, and I worked for, let's see, it was 80 to 80, 81 to 87. Yeah, I worked from 81 to 87 and then in agriculture. And then I went to law school in 87, graduated in 90, took the bar exam, practicing for the district. Started my first job as an attorney, was in the DA's office in Orange County, right next door. Worked over there to 94, went into private practice and municipal court judge from, I think it was 2009. And in 2016, I won the election for this office. So that's how I got here.
That's the path.
Yeah.
And their parents, my 3 children, their parents, and one other ended up here. One followed the other. One married a lady from here. Just followed over here. So
Yeah.
we're all here now.
Yeah. It was just on my way to Prairie View. I never thought I would actually stop here and make this place my home. You just never know.
Wonderful city.
Yes, it is.
We really enjoy it.
Yes, it is.
Just thanks again. They really got the personal treatment. That's wonderful.
Okay, you're welcome. All right. And y'all have a blessed day.
Y'all too. Have a wonderful
All right.
day.
All right. We'll see y'all later. You're welcome. Okay, let's see, we have, who we have? Joshua Lee White. Good morning, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing fine. This is cause number 23 CCCR 1242, case of style of state of Texas versus Joshua Lee White. Mr. White, is that your full name? How you doing, Mr. White? I'm doing fine, thanks for asking. Mr. White, you represented your case by your attorney Ryan Matuska. Mr. Matuska, again, how are you doing?
Good, Your Honor, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Matuska, what is your announcement in Mr. White's case?
Your Honor, we have obtained the discovery, including the digital media. We also received an offer. We don't want to formally reject that offer yet because Mr. White has not had an opportunity to come to office and watch the videos. I'm just asking the court if we could get a short recess for him to do that.
Okay, let's reset this here on a pretrial conference docket. August 26th, is that a good date?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this case will be reset August 26, 2024. Mr. White, you're gonna get your reset from your attorney. Once you get your reset from your attorney, you're free to go. And you have a blessed day. Thanks for being patient with us. Next case is cause number M326744. Case of style of state of Texas versus Alice Marie Bronson. Ms. Bronson, your full name is Alice Marie Bronson. How are you doing, Ms. Bronson? That's good, Ms. Bronson. You represented in your case by your attorney Ryan Matuska. Attorney Matuska, what is your announcement in Ms. Bronson's case?
Your Honor, Ms. Broughton has been making efforts. She made a $500 payment. We're just asking for a little bit more time for her to comply with the additional terms and conditions.
You have any objections, state?
No.
Okay, give us, hold on a minute. Let's do this here. Do we know how much she owes?
Yes, so we were gonna request 60 days extension to give her more time.
Okay.
Currently owes, 924.
Okay, so we're gonna reset it another 60 days? Okay. Give us a reset date. Is that enough time for you, Ms. Bronson? It is? Okay. Because if you need more time, we can give you more. You need some more? Let's do this here. Let's give them 90 days.
Thank you, Judge.
Is that, you have any objections to that state? Okay, we're gonna give you 90 days. Okay, what's that, okay, it's gonna be reset October 2nd, 2024. And she's just continue to comply. Now, you still on probation? You just need to continue to comply with the terms and conditions of your probation. All right. Your attorney gonna get your reset. Once you get your reset from your attorney, you're free to go and you have a blessed day.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Okay, let's see. Now, this will conclude the calling of the court's motion to revoke probation docket, the announcement docket, both dockets scheduled on today's date of July 3rd, 2024 in County Court at Law number 2, Jefferson County, Texas. Judge Terrence Holmes presiding. Mr. Gilliam, you're free to go. You have a blessed day.
Happy Fourth, sir.
And happy 4th to you as well. And Ms. Simmons, you're free to go as well. You have a blessed day and happy 4th of July as well.
Thank you, Dr. as well.
And Mr. Matuska, you have a happy 4th of July as well. All right. This will conclude the calling of the court's docket and County Court at Law 2, Judge Terrence Holmes presiding. Everyone, please have a blessed day.
I will use the gentleman that showed up on the.